for all. But this, people might come and tell you that 2.2 is better than 1 or better than 2. But please don't get into this, because the amount of microgram in a vaccine will not determine the efficacy, effectiveness, because it depends on the antibody levels produced, the IgG antibody levels and the OPA levels. All this I'll explain to you just now. So you have to go by that rather than the amount of protein in this, because the conjugation technology will be different, the adjuvants may be different, not here, but otherwise they all also differentiate between the antibody levels. So it doesn't mean 2.2 is better than 2 or better than 1. This is not to be taken into consideration. The rest all we've discussed. So this is a master chart which says about the vaccines, and I've made it a real colorful one so that you can easily understand. The PCV13 has all these 5 which are different. The rest are all same. So PCV3 is not there in the new PCV10s. 4 and 18C is in the older PCV10, that's why I made it light green, and 6A, 19A is there in the new PCV10, so I made it in the pink color. The PCV3 is an important PCV. It causes necrotizing pneumonia and empymas. So when you have empymas, you should think of PCV3, not PCV3, the serotype 3. 4 and 18C serotypes are the ones which are outbreak serotypes. So 4 tends to cause outbreaks, the 18C tends to cause epidemic cycles, and it's again an outbreak serotype. The 6A is notorious for its resistance to antibiotics. It also causes IBD pneumonia OM, but 6A, if you think of resistance to antibiotics. And when you think of 19A, it is also causes IBD pneumonia OM, but is also a one which has multi-drug resistance. So 6A, 19A are more for anti-drug resistance, 4 and 18C are more for epidemics and epidemic cycles. The rest, all these are common in the 3 PCVs. So first of all, we'll start analyzing the PCV13, which came first. It has, I told you, all the 5 serotypes which we'll be discussing today. So first of all, we'll take the serotype 3, which is slightly more controversial as compared to others, because PCV13 is the only one which will provide direct protection against serotype 3 in young children. And this is a forest graph which shows you the studies. And according to its own literature, the overall serotype coverage of the 3 IPD vaccine effectiveness is 62.3%, 63.5%. So even the literature says that the serotype protection is only around 63.5%. That means it's not a very good serotype to have in your vaccine. If it's not there, there is no other serotype which will give you cross protection against 3. So it's good to have 3. But the point is that it's not a very good serotype because the protection is not there. Most likely it's limited because of the thick cell wall. So although there were 4 studies, I showed you 4 or 5 studies, which showed that it has some protection, 4 of them. But there are lots of other studies which show that it has no other protection. And this is a screenshot I got. Evidence from 7 countries, Denmark, France, Greece, Portugal, Sweden, UK, US included, shows that limited or no effectiveness of the 13 PCV against serotype 3 invasive disease. And serotype 3 capsules has unique characteristics which prevent it from working. So there is substantial evidence. There is result from 10 studies from 7 countries, which shows that there is negative or limited efficacy. The most recent US epidemiological data also from 2016-17 shows that there is no indirect effect of the serotype 3 disease. UK data also shows that PCV13 in infants had no direct or indirect effect on serotype invasive disease in the carriage of serotype 3 continues. So in adults also, there was no cross protection in US because they have been using PCV13 regularly. And now they say in adults, they should not use PCV13 because children could provide them cross protection. But for serotype 3, they say that there is no cross protection also. So there is no effect in adults over 65 years of age. What about the distribution? You know, distribution is also less. If we see Asia, Africa, Latin America, and India, we should see India here only. So it is only 1%. Only 1% is the one which is the amount of PCV3 present in our country as of now. So later on what happens, we don't know. But as of now, it's only 1%. What does WHO says? WHO says that the evidence does not conclude that the current PCVs have a consistent or a substantial impact on serotype 3. So it concludes that it may help, but it's not really a major help. What about serotype 4? It is characterized by the outbreak serotype. I told you, brief duration of colonization, survives better in the environment, And since it's an outbreak serotype, along with 1, 4, 5, 17F, 18C, these are the ones which cause outbreaks. Again, 18C is again a disease which causes outbreak serotypes and is responsible for the epidemic cycle. So one should have these 4 and 18C in the vaccine, but the problem is that the distribution in India as of now is still low with 4 and 18C. The Asia 1.6, Africa 2.3, India is only 0. So I'll show you more studies where 4 does not exist. 18C is also 1%. So 3 was 1, 18C was 1, and 4 is 0. That means only 2% of the total infections of IBD are caused by these 3 serotypes. So when you have 3 serotypes, the protection is only 2% better. If you see the prevalence of ST14 and 18C in other countries like Chile, Colombia, Brazil, Argentina, Mexico, again, it's only 0, 1.1, 0, 0, 0. So IBD incidence in 18C is again 0, 0. So world over, we see as of now, why I'm saying again and again as of now, because sometimes when you use the other serotypes, there might be resurgence of these serotypes which was not prevalent in your vaccine. So replacement phenomena may happen, but as of now, these 2 serotypes, 4 and 18C, are not very prevalent. In India, if we see 2 major studies, the ACIP and the BASIS study, serotype 4 was 0%, 18C was 0.8%, 0%, 1%. Again, very less. This is a chart which is shown by the PCV13 to all of you, which says that if you compare between PCV13, the new PCV10, and the older PCV10, the difference is 87%, 76%. So 11% difference, 66, 78, again around 12% with the new PCV. And if you compare with the older PCV, it's almost 12, 13%. Here it's almost 13%. So these are the studies which are generally little smaller studies. But if you see larger studies, which they don't show you, because in the larger studies, the difference is much less. So ACIP study, which is one of the largest study, BASIS study, and a 10-year review by Jyotsna Singh et al., 10 years prolonged surveillance data, which shows the difference is only 72%, 71%, and 65%, 78, 77, 64, 1% difference between the new and almost 14% difference with the older one. So here also the older difference is much more, with the new the difference is much less. So in all these studies, you can see the major studies that the differences are a little less than what. And then I could find somehow kind of a meta-analysis which reviews 7 studies together, which showed the weighted average between the serotype coverage between the vaccines, and it's around 11%. So this is between the old PCV10 and the PCV13. The new PCV10 is not included in this. And the weighted average is 11% between the old PCV and the PCV10 and the PCV13. So a little more detail about the ACIP study. ACIP is the Alliance for Surveillance of Invasive Pneumococci, because this was the largest pneumococcal surveillance study in India. It was done in 18 institutes across 11 states. And it is a hospital-based prospective study. And interestingly, this was done by GSK. Okay, so this was sponsored by GSK, and these were the results. So since they have taken 6A, 19A as cross-protective against, because of the vaccine serotypes present in the vaccine, so they have shown that this is similar to PCV13, except for PCV3, which it does not protect. But I will come to this detail again, cross-protection, we'll talk about that. But what I wanted to highlight was, this is what we need to know. The commonest serotype in our country is 1.14.5. So 14.15, 1.14.5, these variations will be there. These are the commonest serotypes in our country, and 47%, so almost half of the pneumonia and meningitis are caused by these 3 serotypes only, 1, 14, and 5. The rest is the fight between so many serotypes, and 50%. So 50% are caused by these 3. What we mean to say is, give some vaccine to the child, at least 50% will be protected. Interestingly, another thing, that in this ACIP study, which was sponsored by GSK, and the GSK vaccine has 4 and 18C in it, this study itself showed that 4 and 18C did not exist at all. It was included in this others. So it was not a major component of the study, and this is an important thing to be known and highlighted. In their own study, the vaccine 2 types, 4 and 18C, which were present in their own vaccine, but actually negligible in their own study. So is it important for a PCV to include all these serotypes, 3, 4, 18C, 6A, 19A? Yes, because even if it doesn't work, some work is there with 3, 4, 18C. They are not really prevalent, but okay, 1% each. 6A, 19A, the prevalence is much more, as we saw in the previous study, 3%, 4%. So this is important, and it will be best to have a vaccine which includes all these 5 serotypes for a broader coverage. There's no doubt about it. The point is 3, 4, and 18C account for around 2%, and 6A, 19A account for 5 to 6%. So the best vaccine would be the one which includes all the 5, and broad spectrum of the disease also there in our country. Meningitis, pneumonia, otitis media, all are there. And a vaccine which has all the 5 serotypes plus the 8 other serotypes would be the best in this country. And I'll come to a final comparison later on. This slide I wanted to highlight because this will be shown to you saying that IgG GMCs on when we compare the new PCV10 and the old PCV13, not only PCV13, in 6A, 6B, 19A, 23F, the GMC levels of the ELISA levels of the new PCV10 are less, 79, 91, 89, 96 are less as compared to PCV13. But you must know, this is a very important point, that these levels of the new PCV10 are actually being compared with the phase 2 study, which was done in Gambia. So phase 2 study means, as we all have now learned in COVID times, that phase 2 is only a dose finding study. So after the phase 2 study, the dose was tweaked, the dose was increased, other changes were also made. Almost 13 different changes have been made. And once when we compare the PCV13 levels, we should compare with the PCV10 new phase 3 study, rather than the phase 2 study. So phase 3 is the actual vaccine which is being marketed. So we should study. So don't go by this chart, because these are phase 2 studies, which are actually kind of trial phases where you study the doses of the vaccine. Same OPA titers also, they'll tell you 7F, 9B, 19A were less in the new PCV10, but this again is the phase 2 trial studies. When you see the phase 3 study trials, these are the OPA percentage responders. Okay, one more word you must know is OPA is one which is more important. OPA means opsophagocytic activity. So OPA titers are the one which are the specific antibodies. Again, if we compare with COVID, once we have total antibody levels and one we have anti-spike levels. So anti-spike levels are what we need to test and we need to know, because they are the protective antibodies. So here also OPA levels are the ones which will protect us. So whenever you compare, always should compare with OPA levels. And the percentage of people who responded to the vaccine, and this is comparison of all the 3 vaccines because this is phase 3 study. The blue one is the PCV13, the purple one is the PCV10, the new one, and the pink one is the old PCV10, the same colors which have been used. And so you can see all of them have been exactly the same, except for 19A, the old PCV10 showed a little less level. But this shows that because 19A is not there in the old PCV, so obviously it will show a less level. But it also means here that the cross protection levels are actually less as compared to the direct protection. I'll come to that soon. So OPA people who responded were like this. What about OPA GMTs after the third dose? Again, you can see the colors, they're almost the same, except for like 14, the Prevnar was a little less. In 7F, the Prevnar was more, but more or less, they are exactly the same. 4 weeks post dose 3. So this is comparison of the old 3. So when you see, what I meant was when you see the third phase study, they are more or less the same, but don't go by the phase 2 study comparison. Another aspect which will be discussed is IgG ELISA as well as the OPA titers. They would tell you that IgG is very important because it gives you memory cells, important predictions of the overall prediction. But also they would mention that direct protection is the OPA titers, and that is what I was telling you. Always see the OPA titers, which are more important. Why we need to see OPA titers? I'll just give 2 examples. When you see IgG GMCs versus OPA titers, when you see IgG GMC, the PCV13 had very high and new PCV had low. But when you see OPA titers, the new PCV had highest levels. So an OPA, like I told you, is more important. So OPA is what you need to study, and I'll show you more charts with this. This is against 19A. Again in 19A, the PCV13 showed very high levels, IgG. But OPA levels, when you see, they were highest in the new PCV10. So OPA titers, always see those charts, very important. Plus, of course, there are very good advantages of this PCV13. It has over 20 years of used data, IPD reduction, pneumonia reduction, AOM reduction, herd effect reduction. All these effects have been documented by PCV13. It has shown substantial impact on the reduction of IPD, ranging from 85%, 90%, 100% in Norway. It has also showed substantial impact on all-cause pneumonia reduction. So it has a very good data effectiveness-wise in terms of pneumonia, meningitis, otitis media, and nasopharyngeal carriage as well as herd effect. So even in antibiotic resistance, so it has shown substantial decrease in antibiotic resistance pattern. I can see once it is PCV13 reduced, you can see the reduction of the antibiotic resistance. Herd effect has been seen in adults over 65 years of age, and that is why they have stopped giving PCV13 in US because of the herd effect of the children. And it is also included in 130 NIPs exclusively in 127 countries. So out of the 195 countries in the world, it is used in 130 countries, which speaks volumes about this. So definitely a good vaccine. And another good advantage is that it can be used across the ages till 17 years and above 50 years of age. So this is the only vaccine can be used above 5 years of age, above 65, above 50 years of age in adults also. Coming to the other vaccine, which we were calling as the old PCV10, what do you think is more important, either serotype coverage or the protection? And according to the company, it is the protection which is more important. Till now, we've been talking about serotype coverage, but I'll just tell you why protection is important, but not as important as the serotype coverage. Because protection is the reduction in the overall disease burden, which is more important. This is the only PCV which has good efficacy data. The PCV13 also has good efficacy data, but they somehow undermine this. And these are the number of studies which have shown that tube surgery was reduced, hospital-induced pneumonia, lab-induced, overall IPD was reduced, has a major impact on pneumonia. So this is the coverage-wise. Additional coverage orders has additional protection. This chart you must see. This is a chart which I've highlighted just now. So PCV13 total coverage protection is 78%. This is Jyotsna Singh et al. Study, which was 10-year follow-up data. 67% with the old PCV10 and 72.8% with the new PCV10. This is the data if you go by the serotype coverage. So what they want you to believe is this is not important. What is important is the protection. And why? Because they feel that the all vaccine serotypes are not considered as 100% protective. Cross protection is not accounted for. The serotype 3, they also say it doesn't work. 6A, 19A have been cross protected by 6B and 19F. That's what they want to tell you. This is a chart I showed you just now, 78, 67, 72.8% when you go by the coverage-based report. But when you go by the evidence-based report, it is 76.6, 76.6. So PCV13 and the old PCV10 are, according to them, the same. And obviously, since new PCV10 is new, there is no data which shows you any evidence-based report. And they feel that they want to tell you that this is what is more important, evidence-based. And they have evidence in countries like Sweden, Canada, New Zealand, where they say that if you go only by the serotype coverage difference, the difference between the serotypes which are present in the vaccine, that means 3, 6, and 19 were not there, the serotype difference was 17, 20, 21, 10%. But when you see real world overall IPD protection, it was comparable. So according to them, the serotype, if it is not there in the vaccine, still the cross protection helps them. And additional serotype coverage does not result in higher protection. A very good study they would quote is that in this study in Sweden, where it's a very interesting country, Sweden, where 21 countries are there, and 21 countries, half of them use the PCV10, the old PCV10 and the PCV13. And after the study, they found that the reduction of IPD was 73% in where PCV10 was used, and it was 70% in where PCV13 was used. I was a little skeptical about this. So what I did was I went into the detail of the study. This is a study, comparison of impact of IPD on invasive pneumococcal disease in equivalent population. That means because half of them, the population strata is the same. The counties are very similar. So how did they go do this study? And when you read the details of it, it says that for serotype 3, 6, and 19A, which were included in serotype in the PCV13, they found a significant decline in the incidence of serotype 6A following vaccination in both PCV10 and 13 countries. In contrast, the incidence of 19A in older age groups increased significantly where PCV10 was used as compared to PCV13. Although the results in less than 5 years were comparable, but in adults, the 3, 6A, 19A combined efficacy was more. And in PCV10 countries, the results were similar for children aged 0 to 2 years. So this is what, when you read this and you summarize, it says that for age less than 5 years, the incidence of 19A in PCV10 countries were 0.7 initially, which increased to 1.1. Incidence of 19A in PCV13 counties was 1.6, which became 0. So when you read this and you go back and go back to that chart, that you understand, this is actually IPT in 0 to 2 years. And actually, when you see less than 5 years or adults, the difference was not like this. And when you see this yellow part is the 3, 6A, 19A. So yellow part becomes less, but here the yellow part disappears. So actually that means 3, 6A, 19A, which was there in PCV 13, caused the disappearance of these three. Whereas here, the 3, 6A, 19A, since here it was cross protection only, it only became less. It did not disappear. And I showed you just now, it says that for age group less than 5 years, the incidence reduced the incidence increased from 0.7 to 1, and this is 0.6 to 0.0, and this is less than 5 years. And actually, when it was less than 2 years, that is the only age group where it helped. So less than 2 years, and that's why that chart shows you less than 2 years. But if you see overall impact, the PCV 13 was better because it reduced 19A, 6A, 3 in all the countries across the age groups. Then they would also tell you about the cross protection. They would say smallpox was cross protected by cowpox, and that's how it was eliminated. Tuberculosis BCG gives you cross protection against leprosy, and that's how it is used in leprosy. And same goes true for the HPV, rotavirus, and the PCV10. And if you can remember, Cervarix, Rotarix, this PCV10 are actually all GSK vaccines. They all live on cross protection. But I just want to tell you that suppose you have a vaccine against cowpox and a smallpox, and you want to eliminate smallpox, I'm sure you would use smallpox vaccine rather than a cowpox vaccine. Since we did not have a smallpox vaccine, we use cowpox. For leprosy, we use BCG because there is no leprosy vaccine. But suppose we have a leprosy vaccine, suppose we have BCG, we'll probably use leprosy vaccine for eliminating leprosy, not a BCG vaccine. So if you don't have direct protection, cross protection may help. But I would say if you have direct protection, always prefer direct protection. It is better. Even by their own study, it says that 19-day effectiveness is shown across the globe, and these are the various studies. But it also goes to say that 62 to 80% effectiveness against 19A is seen in all these studies. So it is not 100% very well protection. The protection may be there, but it's not long lasting. That is also one thing you need to know. So for this, I went and saw the WHO data. The WHO says that when you have direct protection, the amount of antibodies are almost 23 to 32 times higher. When you have indirect protection, the antibody titers are 15 to 77 times higher. So 15 and 30 times is almost double. So the cross protection, lower antibody titers may explain the reported failure of PCV10 to reduce 19A in colonization in children, and provide the indirect protection against 19A in unvaccinated individuals. Because the lower levels, they did not provide cross protection, which was long lasting, and did not provide herd effect also. Even at the vaccinated cohort, PCV10 might provide inadequate protection as suggested in Belgium. And this is Belgium study I'll show you. That when they shifted from PCV13 to PCV10, the red line is 19A. You can see an exponential rise in the incidence of 19A as soon as they shifted from PCV13 to PCV10. Even our IAP textbook of vaccinology, I've taken a screenshot from there, which says that direct protection rendered by the serotype included in a vaccine formulation is definitely superior to any cross protection offered by the unrelated serotypes, even of the same group of the PCV formulation. There is data from WHO PAHO, which says that none of the vaccines are superior. They provide you with good cross protection, comparable protection. But when you go into the details of WHO, it also says that when you have 19A and 6C in your settings, that's why I've highlighted, the PCV13 will offer you additional benefit. And the local regional prevalence of the vaccine serotypes has to be seen. So in our country, if we have 19A, 6C, we should have a vaccine which includes 19A and 6C and which gives you direct protection. And this is again straight from the WHO paper. This is not what I have to say. PCV13 may lead to greater reduction than PCV10 as both the serotypes, that means these two serotypes are there in PCV13, and cross protection from the PCV10 did not appear to offer similar benefits. These, which one means 6C and 19A. And epidemiological settings where there is substantial burden attributed to 19A, 6C, it is possible PCV13 may have additional benefits. These are the words of the WHO. Again, the same thing. It says that both PCV10 and 13 induce an antibody response against 19A, although PCV13 induces higher serotype 19A GMCs and higher percentage of children respond to this than PCV10. Again, this is from WHO and SAGE recommendation. These are the serotype IgG levels, the pre and pro booster children vaccinated pre-10 in Netherlands. So if you see PCV10 in terms of 6A, and this is in terms of 19A, in 6A, pre and post booster levels do increase, you can say 10 times, but actually they are nowhere comparable to what it was there in PCV13, same as with 19A. The levels have increased 8 times, but here it is much more, almost 30 times when you use the direct protection as compared to the indirect protection. So what we need to say is there is indirect protection, the levels do increase 10 times, but they are nowhere near if you use direct protection. This is PCV13 direct protection. This is PCV10 indirect protection for 6A, 19A both. And the serotype specific memory cells responses also direct protection 6A, indirect protection, and here is direct protection against 19A. The memory cells also have increased, but here the increase has been much more. This is the same Netherlands study. What about the new PCV10? Also shows you better protection against the 6A, 19A. The levels, if you see here, are 81 and 95 as compared to 8.6 and 46. And PROS primary series also 1, and this is 0.12, 1.64, 0.29. So the comparison ratio is 8 times more, 5 times more. Here, 73 times more, 44 times more. So when you have direct protection, even in the new PCV, it has shown, gives you better levels as compared to indirect protection offered by the and the minimum cutoff is 0.35 micrograms. So the older PCV actually gives you 0.12, 0.29, which are less than the minimum required level. This is in the study. Again, a very good comparative study in the Latin American countries. It shows that, you know, where PCV10 was used in Brazil, Chile, Colombia, and Paraguay, where PCV10 was used, the incidence of 19A increased by 4 times in all these countries. This is a fine print, but approximately 4 to 5 times increase. On the other hand, where PCV13 was used, the incidence of 19A reduced by half in Argentina, Mexico, Uruguay. Can see it's actually a little small print, but the incidence of 19A reduced by half. And where PCV10 was used, the 19A incidence increased by almost 4 to 5 times. So obviously it was not providing you good protection. Then they also would tell you about OM, that OM is a very common thing, and NTHI is what is found in cultures of the middle ear infection, 55 to 95% cases. But till now, nobody has really proven that NTHI is a very common cause of middle ear infection. It is said that this is only a piggyback riding over the pneumococci. When pneumococci go, the NTHI also goes. Whether it is actually, it is found in the middle ear fluid, no doubt, but whether it is actually a cause of pus in the ear is nobody knows. This is data from there, and they said that they would show you this in Sweden data again, that the NTHI probably helped in the reduction of the middle ear infection. The green one is Synflorix, the blue one is the PCV13, and as compared to the blue one, the green one has shown 25% higher reduction in the OM when this was used. But this is only one study in Sweden. I went across and read other studies. First of all, you must know what is NTHI. It is non-typable Hib. It is a group of bacteria which is not with a capsule. And I told you the capsule is very important in pneumococci as well as Hib. So it cannot be typed. So that is why it is called NTHI. It can cause disease. One of them is otitis media, grows in the nasopharynx, gets transmitted in the middle ear fluid, and interconnected transmission is possible. If you can reduce the nasopharyngeal carriage, it will reduce the incidence of otitis media also. So whether it is actually true, why this is thought is whether it is actually true or not, because it is only a conjugate protein which is there in the pneumococcal vaccine. So suppose typhoid vaccine you use these days is the TT conjugate. By giving a typhoid vaccine, you are not protected against tetanus also, the amount is very less. So instead, in that case, that means when you use the TT conjugate typhoid vaccine, that means you are also covering against tetanus. You need not give them a tetanus shot. This is not true. So conjugate protein cannot give you protection against the main disease. And then I found these 2 excellent studies with no efficacy of the PCV10 against NTHI. One of the studies is in New Zealand cohort. This was done to know if there was any effect of PCV10 on NTHI. And they showed that implementation of PCV10, there was no significant change in the S. pneumoniae and the HIV in the nasopharyngeal carriage or the middle ear fluid in children with established ear disease. And the NTHI was predominantly present in the carriage of otitis-prone children, but no change in the rate of detection or ratios was seen after the PCV10 was introduced. And again, here they showed that the incidence of 19A increased after the PCV10 was introduced. This was in the middle of urate, this is in the nasopharyngeal carriage. Again, 19A was increased. They found that PCV10 did not impact the NTHI in the established ear disease. There was lack of effect of PCV10 on the nasopharyngeal carriage. Study does not support that PCV10 prevents the carriage of the non-vaccine serotype 19A. So there were two things they found that did not reduce NTHI and in fact did not reduce 19A. Also, in fact, it increased. There's another study in Netherlands where they found, this was again 780 infants, this was the study, 3,863 children. They found that no efficacy of PCV10 immunization against NTI colonization or acquisition at 3 months post-booster. There was no differential effect of PCV10 on NTI colonization, acquisition or density of AH influenza as compared to PCV7 in healthy children up to 7 years of age. So, you know, the outcome was again the same, key findings were the same, herd effects were not there. And these studies we can see from the New Zealand and Netherlands, and interestingly, both of them were GSK supported studies, and they found that there is no decrease in the rate of NTHI infection or NTHI nasopharyngeal carriage by the use of PCV10. And again, cross protection against 19A by the PCV did not work. Then lastly, shortly, I'll tell you about the new PCV10. We've heard about this very often. The IPT coverage serotype region-wise, I showed you just now. Suppose we see globally, it has the 10 serotypes, 6A, 19A, and does not have 4 and 18C, does not have 3. 3 also globally, the same serotypes are present in 71% children. In India, around 73% children. And all samples, these were done the phase 2-3 studies in Gambia. I'll just show you briefly about the Indian phase 3 trial because that is what we are concerned about. And this is very interesting because it compares Synflorix and Prevnar both. This is a serotype coverage. Oh, I went back, sorry. So this is the phase 3 trial. And the GMC percentage responders were exactly the same in all the 3 serotypes except 19A, 6A in the old PCV10, which are not there, which is expected because it does not have the 6A, 19A, and the cross protection levels are low. These are the percentage of people who responded. Okay, so almost more or less the same. And then we see 4 weeks later, GMC levels. 2 points you need to see here, that some show higher in the pink one, blue one, or the purple one. And there are some where Prevnar shows higher, some here, and 19F, the GSK vaccine shows the maximum. This is the GMC levels. And the second thing I wanted to show you was, if you see the OPA levels, suddenly everything changes. You know, in this one, the 7F, the GMC levels were so low, and 23F, the GMC levels, this was higher. But when you see OPA levels, it becomes comparable. And this is what OPA levels you have to see. And all the 3 vaccines more or less do the same, except for 1 or 2 here and there, like 19A, the old PCV10 does not show because it does not have. 6A does not show because it does not have this serotype. And again, cross protection is not showing major things. And safety concerns of all the 3 vaccines are more or less the same. Adverse events are more or less the same, starting from local systemic side effects, they're all the same. Pneumosil has also got a pre-qualification letter in December 2019, so it's almost 1.5 years. And the WHO approved international patient insert says that it should be given in 3 doses. As a booster also it has to be given. Now the latest news is that India has given orders to Serum Institute for this, and so now in NIP we'll have the new PCV10 as our vaccine, and this is the latest news which came today that this coming Wednesday only Serum Institute is to start supplying made in India pneumococcal vaccine from this Wednesday, and 2.5 crores doses have been ordered. Just 2-3 slides about the new PCVs in the pipeline. Probably next year we'll have a biological E PCV14, which has these 2 serotypes. And we have MSD PCV, which is about to be launched in US in 2022. And then you have PCV10 by Pfizer, PCV20 by Pfizer, which may come later. These are now being studied. The PCV20 is now being studied only in adults. So soon after that, we might have in children too. So till we have better vaccines like PCV14, 15, 20, the fight still continues between the new PCV, old PCV, and the PCV13. If we see the serotype coverage of the new PCVs which will enter, PCV13 suppose gives you 75.5, the old PCV 67, The new PCV10 gives you 74%, PCV14 will be 78%, even better than the PCV13, which is expected. PCV14, 15 are more or less the same, 78, 78, and 81% by the PCV20. So till we have these these three are the ones which we need to decide which one is the better one. Before I finish, I wanted to tell you about the product switching. Every time everybody asks, so WHO recommends that there should be no product switching. Individual children, it is not acceptable. It is only to be done if the other ones is not available. And it is clearly interchangeable data, especially for PCV10, are limited. The new PCV10, obviously, they are limited. So when you have to make a final decision, PCV13 offers the broadest coverage. Obviously, it has 13 serotypes. It has been present in the maximum NIPs. Cost is much more than the benefit. So if you get 2 to 3% extra advantage, whether you really willing to pay that much cost, if the patient are willing, definitely you should take that, because it is the old standard vaccine which has been in use for a long time, good efficacy data, but the cost is double for those 2-3%. Definitely can be used in high-risk infants, the NICU discharges, children who have high-risk conditions, children who are more than 5 years of age, adults, it has to be the vaccine of choice. Then second, we would say the new promising kit, because it does not still have long-term efficacy effectiveness data. It can be used only till 2 years of age, but it is a great value for money. It has the closest serotype coverage of in our country. And like WHO says, you should use a vaccine which is closest to your serotype coverage. Interestingly, the 10 serotypes, the commonest 10 serotypes in our country, to make a list in descending order, are exactly the 10 which are there in the new PCV10. And of course, it's a made in India Atmanirbhar vaccine. And third, we would place as the old Synflorix. The good advantages that it has worldwide effectiveness data. It has been in use for a long time. But the minus point is that it depends more on cross protection, which we saw wasn't really good. It does not have direct protection. The NTHI is also very doubtful, almost a non-runner, and it cannot be used in children above 5 years of age. That's also a small minus point, that cannot be used in adults. So finally, if you really have to make a decision, you must remember statistics are actually something like undergarments. The undergarments is not the word which was used by the Aaron Livingston. I have changed it purposely so that I'm not sounding very sexist, but statistics are like undergarments. What they reveal is only suggestive, and what they hide is vital. And you must go into the details of the statistics provided by you, and then make a final decision. Thank you. I've made a purposefully a colorful thank you, so that includes green, pink, blue, everything. And it was a non-biased talk from my side. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
I've become breathless.
So the whole talk was just excellent, excellent, really, sir. Earlier on, the talks were usually sponsored, so there was always a sense that, you know, the vaccine manufacturers are driving their product. But this was amazing, sir. Sir, I had 1 or 2 questions before. Mm-hmm. So what about the Pneumosil being used? I had 2 questions. So one is that suppose, you know, sir, in Prevnar and all the catch-up vaccines are there. So does that hold true for Pneumosil as well? Like if the child came after 1 and you have to choose, and suppose, you know,
no, the Pneumosil can be used till 2 years of age. After 2 years, you can't use. So suppose the child comes at 1 year plus, give them 2 doses, 2 to 3 months apart. But after 2 years, catch-up has to be done by either PCV13 or PCV10. And after 5 years, it's only PCV13.
Right, sir. The other question is, sir, what about vaccination in high-risk infants, like, you know, the immunocompromised and stuff like that?
That's why I said, you know, if you have high-risk infants, you can use either one of them if they're not affording. But, you know, better to use PCV13 in high-risk infants, because, again, you know, broader coverage as much as possible. If affordability is not a problem, I would say NICU graduates and all can be given PCV13. But if affordability is an issue, the new PCV10 also will work. But if it was my child, I would prefer a PCV13.
Sir, that stands true for India also. Rest of the 3 components, I don't think so they're really prevalent in India.
No, that's what I showed you. That the 1, 5, and 14 are the most common in our India, in our country, and 3 is only 1%, 4 is almost 0%, 18C is 1%. So it's only 2% which are there totally in those 3.
So even if we give 10 also, the newer 10 I think will be better.
That's what I'm saying. Even the 10 will do if suppose, especially because if they run out of money paying NICU bills, you can use the new PCV10.
Thank you, sir.
So there's one question in the chat box. Can Pneumosil be given if previous 2 doses of Synflorix were given?
No, again, same thing. I showed you the second last slide. I know this question will come. Always it is there. Interchangeability is not generally advisable. So if you started one, prefer to continue and finish with the same.
With the same brand.
And here, even the conjugate proteins are different. Sometimes the conjugate protein may be same, like PCV13 and the new PCV10. There you might even think of doing, but here conjugate proteins are also important. So better to finish with the same.
Sir, as per the recommendations of Pneumosil, we can use only 3 doses. The booster dose is not required. Can we boost it with PCV13?
No, booster dose is required. The ACVIP, the WHO says that you have to use a booster, especially because, if you go into the details, the type 1 is a very important type in our country. It's almost the most common or the second most common seen. And if you use only 3 doses, the type 1 may come in the second, third year, fourth year of life. So booster is very important, especially for type 1, and you have to use a 3+1 schedule. That is why our ACVIP says that you use a 3-dose primary and 1 booster dose schedule. The unfortunate thing is because it was done 3+0 because of the government recommendations. Unfortunately, in our country, we have rules. DCGI has said that all tests should be, studies should be conducted as a 3+0 schedule and followed by that as 2+1. Even the BE vaccine, which is being tested as 3+0 schedule.
Arun, good evening. Check out the slide.
Hanji, sir.
Subudhi and Arunji, very excellent presentation by both of you. My only that during the talk, Arun mentioned that Prevana, the pneumococcal vaccine is not being recommended in US for adults now. Can you elaborate that point a little bit more?
In adults.
So, in US, what has happened is that almost all the children have received PCV13 in their childhood. So because of that, PCV13, they have given herd immunity to the adults. And they have seen that the last 5 years of using PCV13, the adults did not show, there was no advantage of using PCV13 in adults. There was no added advantage because they were being protected by the children. So they said you can stop using PCV13 except if it's a high risk case, otherwise give them PCV23 only. In our country, since PCV13 usage is only 1 to 2%, once we have a good coverage, then we can also stop thinking of cross protection. The cross protection will be there for adults.
Right. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for that.
Sir, there's a question. Hi, sir. Question is, do all vaccines have compatibility studies with other vaccines?
No.
Example, DPT when given together?
Quite a few of them have, but all of them don't have. Like Rotarix and Rotatech has, but it doesn't have any with Indian vaccine. So all of them don't have. A few of them have.
There's a question, sir. A 12-year-old who did not receive PCV, should he or she be given PCV? Not high risk.
No. If it's not high risk, don't give, because I showed you in the graph, the pneumococcal disease becomes less after 3-4 years of age. So there's no point giving a PCV now. If the child is less than 5 years, you can give. After 5 years, only high risk.
Another question, sir. Should I consider giving the polysaccharide 23 at 2 years of age to my NICU graduate?
Who has received all the PCV doses? No.
Most probably, sir.
Yeah, most. If they have received PCV doses, you don't need to give PTSB 23.
Okay. Sir, what to do if a child receives primary series of Pneumosil but comes after 2 years age for booster?
Actually, 2 years from now, if you've started the vaccine now, he'll come only after 2 years, and by then we'll have studies.
Okay, sir.
Even if there are no studies, I would give Pneumosil only, not change the brand. It is obvious, if you can give it before 2 years, it will be used. It's only a theoretical thing that, okay, after 2 years, not been tested. But if you receive 3 doses in the primary series, the child comes at 2.5 years, I'll give the same as booster rather than changing to something else. If I have to change, I might change to PCV13 because 6A, 19A are there. But I can assure you after 1.5 years from now, that means once a child is 2 years plus, there'll be studies for 2 years plus also. But if you have to give PCV13 because again, 6A, 19A are there.
Sir, take home message for people like us, the local practitioners.
Local.
Nemosil or PCV 13?
So I've told you all the plus and minus points. You can decide.
Asking the seniors. Sir.
Asking?
Asking you, sir.
No, whatever you decide. I've told you all
your take?
I would say that if the patient is affording kind, if they have deeper pockets, if they don't mind, I would prefer PCV 13. But if they have slightly a problem, I would prefer the new PCV 10.
So money matters.
Obviously, you know, the cost is double for an advantage of 2 to 3% extra.
So make in India, made in India doesn't matter.
It helps, no?
Sir, my question, so I had asked the question for NICU graduate question.
Yeah.
So is there any advantage of PPV 23 over and above PCV 13?
No, for not NICU graduates. You know, it's only for high-risk people like asplenia and all, immunocompromised people. Not by 2 years, the NICU graduate is like normal person, normal child.
Okay, so if we have some child with congenital heart disease, some...
no, PPSV 23 would be not for congenital heart disease.
Okay. Somebody who is prone to recurrent pneumonias, those kind of people.
Yeah, maybe then.
Practically very less. That's what I understand.
And then you can.
Practically very less, and not much.
Yes, then you can.
So today's talk was attended by almost 56, 57 doctors.
Oh, good.
Very good attendance.
Yes. So anyone who wants to ask questions is free to ask.
You know what? We are very lucky that we have Dr. Kasi is listening to us. He's the chairperson of the ACVIP this year, 2 years. So I would request him to say something. I'll be obliged. Dr. Sankalp, उनको unmute कर देना.
Dr. Kasi.
Sir, I think he can unmute himself. All participants can unmute and speak.
So we can have real expert comments from him if he...
Hello, Dr. Kasi.
Oh, hi. Hello.
Yes, I can hear you.
Oh,
yes.
Thanks for asking
nice
some comments. Well, listening to the Arun Wadhwa is always like going to an encyclopedia in vaccinology. I'm sure he has done a lot of homework, you know, to make this presentation. And from a very, very unbiased point of view, I agree with him that the introduction of the new PCV10 has rather changed the scenario of PCV usage in our country. We are now having a vaccine which is definitely less expensive. I won't say cheap, less expensive, but also covering of the two troublesome serotypes versus the older PCV10. I wouldn't like to make any comments about which to use. He has already discussed it. I would just like to say that every child needs a pneumococcal vaccine in our country. I think that is what we need to keep in mind. Well, you can always decide based on your own experience and the expectations of your parents, which vaccine you give to an individual child. Thank you again for giving me a chance to talk. Thank you.
Thank you for joining, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Nice to see you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Nice talk. Very nice talk.
So, ma'am,
If there are no other questions, please don't leave. We have a song coming up by Dr. Sangeeta.
Oh, okay.
So, Dr. Sangeeta is going to sing for us. Please hold on, everybody.
Yeah. So I'm singing a song, Zara Zara Behkta Hai. I hope I'm audible.
Yes, yes, you are, you are.
जरा जरा बहकता है महकता है आज तो मेरा तन बदन, मैं प्यासी हूँ मुझे भर ले अपनी बाहों में। जरा जरा बहकता है महकता है आज तो मेरा तन बदन, मैं प्यासी हूँ मुझे भर ले अपनी बाहों में है। मेरी कसम तुझको सनम दूर कहीं ना जा, ये दूरी कहती है पास मेरे आ जा रे। यूं ही बरस बरस काली घटा बरसे हम यार भीग जाए इस चाहत की बारिश में। मेरी खुली खुली लटों को सुलझाए तू अपनी उंगलियों से, मैं तो हूँ इसी ख्वाहिश में। सर्दी की रातों में हम सोए रहे एक चादर में, हम दोनों तन्हा हो ना कोई भी रहे इस घर में। जरा जरा महकता है महकता है आज तो मेरा तन बदन, मैं प्यासी हूँ मुझे भर ले अपनी बाहों में। पाए मुझे तेरी सभी बातें, झूठा ही सही प्यार तो कर। मैं भूली नहीं हंसी मुलाकातें, बेचैन करके मुझको मुझसे यूं ना फेर नजर। रूठेगा ना मुझसे मेरे साथ ये वादा कर, तेरे बिना मुश्किल है जीना मेरा मेरे दिल पर। जरा जरा बहकता है आज तो मेरा तन बदन, मैं प्यासी हूँ मुझे भर ले अपनी बाहों में है। मेरी कसम तुझको सनम दूर कहीं ना जा, ये दूरी कहती है पास मेरे आ जा रे। आ जा रे आ जा रे आ जा रे। Thank you.
Wow, excellent.
Very nice. And,
Thank you.
And now I think we need to call it a day after this.
Yeah.
So thank you so much, Dr. Arun Wadhwa, for an excellent deliberation and a great learning exercise for all of us. So all of us now we can make an informed choice as far as pneumococcal vaccine is concerned. Thank you, Sangeeta, for excellent
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
And for the beautiful song, so well sung. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you all participants. We had a good 55 to 56 participants, and it was really a good house. Thank you so much. And next week, please join us in large numbers because we have the hottest topic of the town, COVID in children, and Dr. Dhiren Gupta, the expert in this field, will answer all your queries. He's from Gangaram Hospital, and he should be able to answer whatever queries you have in COVID, and he will tell us how to manage the acute COVID next week. So do join. Good night, everybody. Enjoy your dinner. Shabak khair. Good night.